Welcome to the WheelCast, hosted by Greg Orange, who is Greg, not me. I am his friend Brian. I'm not going to be here for that long.
Yeah, well, I assume no one's here yet, anyways. Yeah, but I guess we should start explaining what's going on. So I got this wheel. We got a list of topics, which may or may not be visible. Probably visible. And basically, the wheel. This is the podcast where the wheel decides. We talk about each topic for 3 minutes. That gets rolled. And we're taking topic suggestions as well. We have a list of starting topics and a few extra ones.
So you can see in the top left corner, top right corner there's a list of topics, and each of those numbers correspond to a number on the wheel. And the wheel decides what we talk about.
Yeah. Let's see.
Someone was promised a live WheelCast, Greg.
Yeah. Was someone promised a live WheelCast?
It's right there,
It's
Greg.
live right now.
The WheelCast is live right now. Should we wait until a few people get in here or whatnot?
No, we can start.
Alright.
Yeah. It's also a podcast, everybody, so you can hit up the episodes on YouTube.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, is the YouTube address on here? Oh yeah, it is there. Okay, cool. We got some old podcasts on there that don't have video yet, but they should be fairly noodly.
And let's do some introductions, starting with Max.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Max. I am a wheel enthusiast.
I'm Arthur, also a wheel enthusiast.
I'm Greg Orange, magic aficionado.
And the host of our beloved podcast, and of course owner of the Treasured Wheel. I am Brian, I'm Greg's friend. I won't be here for very long, not in future episodes probably. Greg is helping me move to Florida.
Yeah, the wheel is nice. Look at this thing.
Anyway, it's a real nice sound.
It has a nice sound to it, which is important.
So let's get it started and spin the wheel.
Alright, cool. So I guess time to spin the wheel. Who wants to be the honors?
Why don't you do it, Greg?
It's your podcast.
Yeah. It's your show.
You got it, Greg.
Oh yeah, I guess. So one thing to know about this podcast is that it doesn't end until you spin it on the wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin it once, and after that topic gets rolled, then we're going to switch it out. Each topic gets switched out with a new topic, but the first one will be switched out with a topic that just ends the podcast when it gets rolled.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
So those are the rules. Let's time to spin the wheel. Ooh, 14. 14 is...
famous wheels.
Ooh, famous wheels.
Well, obviously, Ferris. Ferris and his wheel. The Ferris wheel. Probably the most famous wheel in all of the world. All I know is that it's named after a man named Ferris, and it's at every amusement park you've ever been to. Of course, the wheel, invented into the Stone Age by God knows who. They didn't actually have it in ancient Egypt, it's believed. They had to slide those huge blocks to build the pyramids on just slabs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think also we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Wheel of Fortune. Another
Wheel of
great
Fortune
game
is
show.
Nice.
I think Max.
Wheel of Fortune is an excellent game show and an excellent magic card.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty
It's a
sure.
magic card.
I'm pretty sure Max is our Vanna White. Just-
Yeah. Let's see. What other noodly wheels are there? Steering wheels? I'm always fond of
They're
being able
pretty
to
important.
decide where to go.
Wheels of cheese. Probably my favorite.
Cheese wheels.
Cheese wheels
Those are nice.
My favorite kind of wheel. By the way, I can't comment on any of those Magic the Gathering topics you see. So this is my time to... It's less of a shine and more of a dull sort of glare.
Yeah.
Of the cheese wheels that exist, what would be your favorite cheese wheel?
Aged Gouda is remarkable. There's little crunchy things in there. I don't know what the hell they are,
Probably
but they
some
are
sort
delicious.
of fungus, I assume.
Oh, well, almost certainly. They might, I'm not sure if... I'm not sure if Gouda is aged with bacteria or fungus. It actually depends on the... No, not all cheese is aged with only fungus. Some uses bacteria,
suppose.
Greg.
Yeah, I suppose.
No.
What can you do about that, though, I guess, in general?
We're probably coming up on 3 minutes on Cheap
no, we've been watching the uptime. We've only been doing for 2 minutes, it seems.
Oh.
Let's see.
Are there any other famous wheels?
There
has to be more.
Like, I guess there's, like, car wheels, you know?
That's related to
Pinwheels?
Pinwheels. There's the... Let's see... Like the last time I was at GP Vegas or like Worlds in Vegas where I rolled the big like wheel over there. I guess it's just a Ferris wheel. Oh, roulette wheels.
Yeah. Roulette is nice.
Yeah, roulette is it's about yay noodly, I suppose.
Certainly a game that you can play in casinos for money.
It's not super good value, but what is, I suppose.
It is very random.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's about 3 minutes. So I guess I should switch out this famous wheels for just end the podcast.
So if we roll or spin 14 again, then the cast is over.
It looks like someone wants you to spin it as hard as you can, Max.
Alright.
Ooh, that was not very hard.
It was not.
Ooh, 16.
Come on, 16. Called it.
43% emo with the psychic power.
Let's call
16.
Shoes Booze.
Oh, call Shoes Booze.
Hey,
right.
Shoes Booze.
Hey, Shoes Booze. How's it going?
Having a nice time over there.
We gotta call it.
We need to call him louder.
We need to call him on the phone.
Our producer,
Shoes Booze,
can't hear us right now. So we need to call him on the cell phone. Get him on the podcast.
I guess have to call him on the old cell phone, I guess.
You know, I'd only heard apocryphal tales of the legendary Shoes Booze and his shoes filled with booze.
It's ringing. I don't know if you could hear that.
Oh. Who could that be?
Hello?
Hey, Greg, what's up?
Oh, we're just recording a podcast over there. Thought I'd give you a call.
Oh, nice. What is that, the WheelCast?
Yeah, the one and only WheelCast. How did you know?
Legendary.
Do you have like room for another? If I can get over there quick.
Let's squeeze you in.
We can probably squeeze you in.
Sweet. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Alright.
Man, I can't wait to have
It sounds like Shoes Booze is on his way.
I'm so excited.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Hey, what's up?
Oh my
Whoa!
God.
Oh, the camera's down.
That's
Shoes Booze, we haven't
In case you
spawned
were
a
wondering
14
if this
yet.
really is live, now you know.
Oh dear.
Well, I might just have to be off camera for most of the... Well, thanks for the call, Greg. That was nice of you thinking of me.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty pleasant conversation.
Not very noodly has been called. That's pretty unfortunate. That's like... Ooh.
I feel like it's at least yay noodly.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go off camera again. I'll hopefully not screw it up.
Well, thanks for doing all the behind the scenes work.
Alright, we're gonna need to get an extension cord next time, guys.
You can see all the booze he drinks from his shoes.
I think in the middle of a live podcast is the best time to call someone up.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, they do it on radio shows all the time. Why not podcasts?
That's
Alright.
true.
Alright, I'll just offer, the every once in a while comment from the
Fringes.
what do you call it?
Alright, so if we roll 16 again...
Peanut gallery.
The peanut gallery. So we roll 16 again, we'll have to...
End the podcast.
No, that's
No.
14.
Yeah.
Oh.
We don't replace all of them within the podcast.
I guess
Just
on the
one.
side... I mean, do we have any suggestions from the... I guess we'll do favorite bonds. That's
Yeah.
Oh, if chat has any suggestions for topics that you want
I guess
us to talk
favorite
about, please
MTGO
put them
bugs is apparently in there. Or no, it's not. Let's do favorite bonds. It sounds noodly.
Favorite what?
Bond.
Bonds like James Bond?
Whatever.
Well, any Bond you want.
You're spoiling the topic right now.
Like the 1 year term.
Alright, who wants to spin the wheel?
I'll spin the wheel.
Ooh, that's a nice spin you got there.
Craig, you didn't change the number 16.
Didn't I? Oh, there it is. 12.
12.
That would be favorite MTGO bugs.
Ooh.
That's nice.
Alright,
I have all kinds of insight to offer here. Passing it off to the crew.
Alright, let's see. So what are some noodly bugs?
I think one of my favorites is Spire Swine. Like, I like the bugs that, like, cause entire archetypes to pop up.
Is that the one where, like, it causes your opponent to time out or concede, or?
Yeah, so Spire Swine is, like, a creature, like, one of the bestow creatures. And it like, puts out a creature and they, like, can't block or have to block it with other creatures or something like that. So then... it was bugged on Moto so that I think if you attacked with it, your opponent couldn't like put up legal blocks, so they'd just be stuck trying to assign blockers for forever.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah.
And then I imagine like the fix is generally just like or Wizards just like, oh, please refrain from doing that.
Yeah, they don't want you to exploit the bugs once they're known. They're not gonna fix them though.
Yeah, they just sort of hang out.
If I recall correctly, Spire Spine was the tier 1 deck with the highest, like, best finish in dailies for at least 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, let's see. What other noodly bugs are there? What, like, there's the... I guess, I mean, that's just, like, the general, like, crashiness, I suppose.
Yeah.
I like the one where Merciperion could just be hardcast. It
Oh,
didn't have to come from creatures. So you just have, like,
no drawback.
2 mana 5/6.
Yeah, 2 mana 5/6
was
colorless
nice.
5/6s are
That's
nice.
not a bad magic
Yeah,
card.
that's pretty
It's hard
solid.
to top the bug where if you just, like, resolved... skeletonized, the entire client crashed, and it wasn't just your client, it was like the server crashed. That one was really nice.
I feel like it just, like, what do you think caused that? I think they just didn't have, like, a skeleton token, so, like, it kept looking and then didn't find anything, and then just
Probably.
freaked out.
Gotta love those bug testers.
Yeah, they probably have bug testers, or maybe we're the bug testers.
Yeah,
I was on the beta for a little bit, and I found
Oh
some
yeah,
bugs.
they have the like MTGO
I found a nice Garrett
beta.
Relentless bug.
Ooh.
I attacked it with 2 Midnight Haunting tokens, and so 2 flip triggers went on the stack, and then it flipped to the night side, and then it flipped back to the day side. And I couldn't do anything anymore, and I lost.
Ooh, that's nice.
There was a bug for a while where I think Gleemox was legal in Vintage.
What?
One of the moxes from the unsets was legal in Vintage.
Yeah.
Could you get uncards in MTGO?
I think so, from like Treasure Chest or something.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Was it Mox Lotus?
Oh yeah, it was Mox Lotus. Yeah.
Is that the one
15
that you
mana,
have-
make infinite mana.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah, alright. I feel like that's been about 3 minutes on MTGO bugs, so I guess time to spin the wheel.
Oh, you have to replace. You got to
Oh
replace.
yeah, I gotta replace the topic again.
We're very professional streamers, all of us. All 5 of us. Excuse me, 4.
Alright,
Shoes Boots
so-
went home.
So I don't, have any. Let's look. So the next topic for number 12 will be possible prequels.
Yeah. Someone in chat commented on the layout. This is thanks to Shoes Booze. He did a great job.
Yeah.
From
It
his
looks
home.
very
Also,
good.
Also, thanks to Mike Hawthorne, he just had a lot of very good suggestions for how to
Yeah.
make it look nice.
Who wants to be the next person to spin the wheel?
I guess I'll give it a spin again, I suppose. Alright, time to spin the wheel. Ooh. Topic number 8. The end of PPTQs.
Ooh.
So apparently, there's not going to be any more PPTQs, I suppose.
Yeah, they're replacing it with a different qualification system. So the current PPTQ season is going to be the last one.
Yeah. It would have been nice if they would have, said what the new system was going to be along with this announcement, but
yeah,
it sounds like it's going to be kind of like old PPTQ or old PTQs, but a bit more exclusive. Right?
Yeah, I'm really interested in hearing what like the qualification, because you get like an invite into the qualifier, and I want to know what the criteria is for that.
Imagine some like 40 planeswalker points or something like that.
A nice competitive number.
You have to play in 2 FNMs over the year to get invited to it.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be something like that. We gotta use planeswalker points or something anyway.
Yeah. I would guess, are they redoing the Pro Club as well, or is Bronze just getting to go to all of the PTQs? Because that seems kind of janky.
Yeah, like they introduced Bronze to like make you invited to all the RPTQs, but then they do it with RPTQs, so Bronze doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
it does give you 2 buys at GPs though.
Oh, I thought it only gave you 1 buy.
It originally gave you 1 buy, and then a bunch of people complained because
that's so
ludicrous. I need to play in PPTQs in order to get buys of Planeswalker points, but I can't play in the PPTQs because I'm Bronze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe for Bronze, I could just like mail you a nice sandwich.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna lie, the sandwich might be a greater incentive for me to try to reach Bronze than what they're currently offering.
It's like a real nice sandwich.
Like a nice BLT or
top
something.
dollar Reuben.
Yeah, ooh, a Reuben would be nice.
I'll take a free Reuben.
As long as we exclude the proletariat, I'm okay with it.
Oh,
wow.
That was
Brutal.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
I just like the idea of just like taking an envelope and putting the sandwich in it and shipping it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd probably put it in a packing tube if it was like a sub.
Oh,
right,
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
How is it not a restaurant business? Just send it.
Yeah,
through a
sandwiches by mail.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna need a sandwich, but at some point down a few days from now.
Yeah, they just have refrigerated sandwich tubes.
Yeah.
I've seen the old, I think it was on Cracked. It was about selling food. Oh my gosh, excuse me, on Craigslist.
Yeah.
I'm just sending it to people unrefrigerated over the mail, and they just get some nasty ass steak.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Extra protein.
Any entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah.
That's a $1 million idea.
Elon Musk, hit me up.
Yeah, he probably will, I assume. Because that idea is just too good. Well, it's about 3 minutes of
PPTQ sandwiches.
So
that's the end of that one.
Who wants to spin the wheel this time?
I got it.
All right.
Hard as I can.
Give it a go, Brian.
Not really. That's probably a bad idea.
I mean, I
That's
can
nice
spin it
and
either
loud.
way, I suppose.
4.
4. So 4. Also,
You have to replace end of PPTQs.
all right. So instead of end, where did it go? I had it typed in there. Oh,
Dirty banana costume.
yeah. Oh yeah. Sturdy banana costume.
Guilds Limited. I know a lot about
Ooh.
guilds. I played Guilds War. That's all I got.
Yeah. So Guilds War is presumably new to late. So Guilds is the new limited format, RTR whatnot, and yeah, it's got the 5 guilds: Dimir, Izzet, Boros,
Green Boros.
Green Boros, and Golgari.
We got a host.
Ooh,
Shout him out.
the host from who?
Well, look at the chat. It's right there. It's the second to last message.
Oh,
Yeah.
ooh, nice.
Hey there, sexy.
Wow.
You're
Yeah,
looking.
that's
That
forward
was my
of you.
teammate from Denver. That's me.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, man. You're very attractive.
Yeah, to be fair, you've never seen them before, so
He's just surmising based on
Throwing
Only the
overall
most attractive
greatness-
people
overall
host.
greatness of the host.
Hey, Nee.
yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
At least on the inside. Just like me. I'm very externally pretty as well. But, internal. That's what counts. This is my
Yeah.
heart.
So-
This is my
what's
heart.
how do
inside
people
that
feel
count?
about guilds?
Oh yeah,
Limited?
Guilds Limited. So like Demir is noodly, Boros is like also fairly noodly, and Golgari is like very bad.
It's anti-noodly.
Yeah.
So like I think the best like Golgari like gold common is like the Rhizome dude that gets counters for each creature in your graveyard.
Yeah.
And it's probably worse than the worst Demir common.
Yeah. So like the like 3/2 with flash, that's a Rails one.
Yeah.
Is that the worst in the common?
The worst multi-color
Yeah,
one, I think.
Yeah.
What's like the
Which that one's like pretty nice.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
pretty nice. Yeah.
What's the worst Boros one?
Probably like
I
the
guess-
3/3 for 5.
Yeah.
3 for 5 is very bad.
Garrison
Yeah.
Sergeant's
Yeah.
not playable.
But most of the other ones are playable in Boros,
Yeah.
which is why Boros is pretty nice, or part of the reason why Boros is pretty nice.
Man,
Well,
I think
three
it's a bad
for
uncommon.
3 is
The 5/5.
the game I play.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that one's pretty over costed, and also you don't generally have it gets double strike when you have gates, and you don't generally have that many gates in your Boros deck.
You're
So
very likely to catch Boros Guild Gates on the wheel.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't want many of them in your deck.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, just a reminder, you can anyone can suggest topics, then we can add them to the wheel as we go. That is how it.
The topics can be as specific or as vague as you want. You could even make like my dick. That's a topic.
I
I'll
would
probably try to
stray
shy away
that
from
one.
topics of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
probably. But we could talk about Richard Nixon.
yeah, the old tricky Dick Nixon. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
Famous
humble
Richards.
producer has no opinions about Tricky Dick.
he's giving me the axe.
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
He hates Richard Nixon more than he hates.
All right. So I feel like we've pretty thoroughly discussed Gills Limited.
Yeah,
at
I
this
think
point.
that's all there is to say about it.
So I
Yeah.
guess if we roll 4
Spin.
again, we'll be talking about Captain Planet. Let's just
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
So time to spin the wheel. Ooh, almost ended it, but
Oh,
not
that was
quite.
close.
So the old dirty banana costume, is that 13, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, you've rolled 13 twice already? Alright, well, so how do you feel about dirty banana costumes in general?
Like the type that you rent, or is it like a specific different kind of?
It's just like a Halloween costume that's shaped like a banana and just hasn't been washed recently.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like passed through many people.
Yeah.
Just like used from year to year without ever getting washed.
Yeah.
the sweaty banana costume.
Yeah, so basically, like,
I would probably not wear one.
Yeah.
yeah,
It sounds very unclean.
yeah, so I was going to like a Halloween like thing, with some of like the local Magic players and whatnot, and like one of my friends, Rick, was like, "Yeah, we got a costume for you, seeing as how you are unprepared." And I was like, "Oh, what is it?" He's like, "Oh, it's this dirty banana costume." I was like, "Oh, what makes it dirty? It just is dirty." I'm like, all right. So yeah, I wore the costume for Halloween. It was kind of nice.
Do you think you'll be wearing that one again this year?
Oh, yeah.
There's still time, I suppose.
You gotta run back the dirty banana costume.
Ooh, I guess the costume could have brown patches, but I feel like these brown patches were just stains.
Just people spilling rum and cokes all over you.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So that's the ideal scenario for the brown stains.
If you were a banana, you'd hope everyone pours rum and coke on you.
Yeah. Imagine that's the idea.
The life of a banana.
Yeah.
It's a rough
Get
one.
Kinky banana, that'd be great.
Is this advice for if you like buy a clean banana costume and you want to go as a dirty banana
Yeah, definitely
costume?
dirty it up a little bit
Yeah.
before you use it.
Yeah.
It really adds to the mystique of the costume.
Nobody's
Yeah,
ever
definitely.
seen a perfect banana. It's
Yeah.
always got either some green or some brown.
Yeah, no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a
you
myth.
gotta get a little bit of brown on your banana costume, I assume.
Don't forget about the exception to the rule, guys. Jeez. That's all I have to add.
Alright, so I guess that's probably been about 3 minutes. Want to spin the wheel again?
Yeah.
So I guess
What are
instead
you
of
gonna replace it with?
oh yeah, let's see, rocket surgery.
Ooh, rocket surgery is a nice one.
Yep.
Oh, look at Perfect Banana Man in the chat. Jeez.
Nothing only buys perfect bananas.
Pardon me for being a part of
Oh,
Oh,
so close.
yeah, we really just hitting around this area a lot. So number 15, Halloween movies. Ooh, those are nice. So are these specifically the movies in the series Halloween, or
No.
just Halloween movies in
Like
general?
H2O.
I think like
Yeah,
Halloween
Halloween
related
H2O.
movies.
Halloween related. Last year we had a
Halloween
remarkable,
Resurrection.
We had a remarkable string of movies we watched. I and some friends on the internet. Every day in October we watched a new horror movie. It was great. So this is about spooky movies in general. I was going to rent Jacob's Ladder the other day. I told you about this. I was watching a video about the electronical implement Jacob's Ladder. Came up in rentals on YouTube. I was thinking about it. It's supposed to be spooky as hell. What are your favorite spooky movies?
I like Aliens. That's nice.
Aliens is really
Yeah,
good.
Alien,
That's
I
an
suppose.
action movie. That's not a spooky movie.
I don't know.
Alien.
It's
is a spooky
relatively
movie.
spooky.
Relatively, but come
Alien
on.
is pretty spooky too.
Let's see. I like Deep Blue Sea.
That was pretty spooky.
Yeah, it's got giant sharks that are super intelligent.
The black guy lives. The chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LL Cool J doesn't even die somehow.
Samuel L. Jackson does, but you know it's his job.
What can you do?
Spoilers.
Yeah. I don't know. Would recommend. I don't know what spooky movies are you feeling these days?
Not necessarily spooky, but Halloween themed. Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's a good one.
I love that movie. I like that you
Sounds
can
relative.
watch it for,
Christmas or
October
Halloween.
through December.
Yeah.
And you're just
It's
on
all
point all the
themed.
time.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Might have to skip it in November. I feel
Yeah.
Just joking.
It's time
There's a
for-
door with a turkey on it in that movie, so it's
yeah.
game.
It's a
Yeah, that's
Thanksgiving
true.
movie too.
I guess there aren't really very many Thanksgiving movies in general.
Yeah. All right.
So
Greg, what did end of PPTQs get replaced with?
Can you repeat the question?
maybe
The
Captain
topic,
Planet? Is that
Yeah,
it?
that got
Captain
replaced
Planet?
by Captain Planet.
Oh no, Captain Planet's on there. Let's see. Do it.
Just put two new
Night
topics
Before.
in.
Rocket Surgery, Captain Planet, Dirty Banana Costume, Possible Prequels. Is it that one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Max, he says that he protects his perfect bananas with banana buddies. Can you verify? He said to ask you.
Banana buddies. It's a container that you can bring a banana with you on the go.
Oh,
Nice.
Jesus.
Is it banana shaped or is it?
Yeah,
just
it's
like...
banana shaped.
Ooh,
Okay.
that does, I feel like bananas have their own containers. But do you think
You can never be too safe.
do you think you can build a giant one to like use as a Halloween costume?
A giant banana,
Banana
buddy.
buddy.
So is the
Yeah.
banana buddy basically like the oversleeve equivalent for carrying your banana?
Yeah, it's like a top
It's-
loader.
It's the top loader of
Top loader
bananas.
for
Yeah.
bananas.
Yeah.
For-
Is there a banana perfect fit?
For awareness,
I'm
put in
pretty
your
sure
bananas.
that's just a banana.
Probably.
Bananas naturally express a gas which causes them to ripen faster. So if you want your green bananas to turn into yellow bananas faster, put them in a paper bag or closed container in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called ethylene.
Alright, so what topic are we on? Halloween movies?
Yeah.
Alright, I feel like it's been about yay long on Halloween movies. So like if we roll 15 again, we'll be talking about let's see,
These comments
meat
a little
trees?
on the nose
Yeah.
there, but it's not right.
No.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with ketchup.
Alright, so meat trees is the next topic. So time to spin the wheel. Ooh, It's a nice spin.
It is nice.
I like the wheel sound. The
It's
wheel
very
sound is
soothing.
nice. Ooh, 8.
So it's
The end, or what?
You never replaced it, Greg.
I did replace it. I thought.
Was it Captain? No.
I think
Possible
it was possible
prequels.
prequels.
Possible prequels.
yeah.
Oh man.
So can you think of movies that potentially would have good prequels?
I assume there are some. Let's see.
How do you feel about a prequel to Deep Blue Sea?
Ooh, I feel like where they're just like doing science and then nothing goes wrong.
They're just
Yeah.
doing Alzheimer's research for the
Yeah.
whole movie, getting a grant approved to research sharks
Build-
for
building their research facility.
It's just a movie about them building the facility.
I think we need a prequel to Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, what would that be about?
To
they made
Raise a
sequel,
Mockingbird.
right? Oh, to raise.
So you have to raise the
Atticus
mockingbird
Finch.
first.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just about a guy that keeps birds and raises mockingbirds.
It's very deceptive.
What
Actually.
about a prequel to like The Shining, where they're just thinking about going on a family trip?
They're like planning it out and like taking off work.
Just
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson breaking his son's arm several times.
What does he do then? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
The Land Before Time.
The
The
Land
Land
Before
Before
Time.
Time.
The Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
It's just the same movie but with all the dinosaurs removed.
I like The Land Before Time. I like the title.
I like the idea of having prequels to movies that seem like they're the beginning, right? Like Batman Begins. Like
Yeah.
what's before? It's like
The prequel to Batman Begins.
It's just a movie about
Batman
corporate
Begins
America.
the beginning.
X-Men Origins.
The original.
The original.
X-Men for real this time. This is the origin.
Yeah.
Could just make a Wolf of Wall Street type movie about Bruce Wayne's dad.
That sounds nice.
I would definitely watch that one.
Oh,
that's nice.
yeah, that is nice. Yeah, did anyone look at the timer when this started? I've been meaning to. But I've just been sort of going by
We
feel.
have a few topics that haven't gotten updated. If we can just do
Yeah,
that
let's
quick.
take a minute.
Halloween movies is still on there.
I think it's because like we're both on here.
I'm not editing it. If you're you're the only one who's editing it.
Thought
Pretty sure.
Greg's afraid of feet, by the way.
I don't think many people like.
Some of the numbers got messed around. So and the podcast is 12, but now there's 2 meat trees.
Well, and the podcast was 14.
Oh, it
right?
was? Okay, you can change. So what should 12 be? Sorry, everybody. We're still getting the hang of this.
Yeah.
Professional streamers. Gonna keep repeating it.
Yeah.
I would like a Galaxy Quest prequel.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Where it's just about the show Galaxy
It's about
Quest.
the show. Oh,
Yeah, I was thinking that I could go for like a new Galaxy Quest TV show where it's just a show within a show,
Yeah.
and each episode's just a new episode of the New Adventures of Galaxy Quest.
I'd
The
watch
New
that.
Adventures.
Yeah, the New Adventures of Galaxy Quest.
What's that from? I remember the New Adventures of something, and I'm not thinking of the new Red Green show.
I think it's just the New Adventures of Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. From 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright.
Anyone in chat have recommendations?
Yeah.
It's just an episode of the show. Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's just an episode of the show. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Alright.
We need 2 new topics, Greg. One, because there's 2 end the podcasts.
Well, 14 definitely should be in the podcast.
So what should 12 be?
I don't know how it got.
I changed it because there was no end the podcast. I thought 12 was where it was supposed to go.
Well, I think 12 just was whatever it was before.
Does anyone in chat have
favorite-
some noodly topics?
Maybe it was Captain Planet?
No, Captain Planet's number 4.
We can talk about the word noodly as an adjective and why. it's
Favorite
bad.
bonds?
That's already on here.
Rocket surgery?
It's on
Yeah,
here.
it's 13.
Meat trees?
On here.
I think one of the originals probably got deleted.
Okay. Well, just put pizza axioms.
Sure.
There we go.
Actually, Meat Trees isn't up yet, but it was supposed to be.
Oh, Meat Trees is number 15 now.
And then we need a new one to replace this one.
For 12.
Oh, yeah. Let's go with
Replace
Cloverfield movies.
Cloverfield movies? Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
So if we hit 8 again, we'll be
speaking of
talking about
prequels.
Cloverfield movies.
Yeah. Alright. Time to spin the wheel, I assume. Who wants to spin it this time?
The Boo!
The booze.
Guess.
Special
Oh, surprise! I didn't go home!
Ooh, it's a nice spin.
Ooh,
number one.
PT Atlanta.
Ooh, PT Atlanta. It's just coming up in a few weeks here.
I feel like you have a lot of insight about this one, Greg.
Oh yeah, it should be I don't know, it's what is it, standard and draft, RTR draft.
RTR.
And new standard. The new standard format seems kind of noodly, I suppose.
Yeah.
A lot of black-green decks, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like it's on the verge of being solved, but black-green is kind of, I think, slowing it down a little bit when people try and innovate and find ways to beat the, value engine.
Yeah, black green is a pretty resilient deck. Like, mono red should be able to beat it, but it has Wild Growth Walker.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
like their control deck should be able to go over the top of it, but it's like find. And then like
Carnage Tyrant.
some mid range. Oh yeah, and Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of decks, like the best way to go over it is with Explosion.
Yeah.
I did offer to drive Greg to GP Atlanta for the question in the chat. He is instead of flying from Florida to Minnesota and then to Atlanta the next day. So how's that for efficiency?
You're just
That's very
getting those
efficient.
on-flight meal values.
Yeah, there probably won't be any meals, I
At least
assume.
a snack.
Not on Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit doesn't have time. But I'm flying Delta to Atlanta, so I should be able to get like some pretzels or something.
You do have your choice of Teferi decks though for PT Atlanta.
Yeah.
Port St. Lucie, Florida. Port St. Lucie. That's where that's where I'm moving. Greg's helping me move there. We're all in Minneapolis, Minnesota right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Nee is in Orlando, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
You can
So
play Teferi with red. You can play Teferi with black cards.
yeah, I sort of like. One of my original deck brews was like a Teferi, like a Crackling Drake deck that was like splashing Deafening Clarion and Teferi, basically.
That
was like-
sounds nice.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Like, Clarion was super noodly, and Crackling Drake was reasonably nice as well, and whatnot. But, I imagine it has a tough time, like, beating Carnage Tyrants.
Yeah.
Fairly. I mean, I guess you could try blocking it, or just winning with the
So
Drake, but
white
then-
is the splash color.
yeah.
Okay, so you can't play like the 5 mana sweeper.
Or settle or
I
something.
mean, I guess you can do what you feel. But also the problem is, like, the 5 mana sweepers and, like, the settle are not, like, super noodly against non-Carnage Tyrant cards out of black-green,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
awkward. It's part of the reason black-green is so noodly. It has so many angles, I suppose.
It's called Golgari, right?
Yeah, it is cool.
I remembered. I'm basically a professional.
Basically.
Alright.
Well,
Well,
is not great in draft, but it certainly is great in standard.
yeah.
We've got a lot of nice ones. Like
Pretty
uncommon
nice in
and rare.
Dominaria draft, though.
Ooh,
consider
some
that.
slime foot.
That's true.
Yeah, you get some slime foots and some
Alright.
valid omnivores.
That's nice.
Alright, so the next topic, number 1, will be Wheel of Life. How does that sound? I don't know what that one is, but we can put it in
No,
there.
we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about it.
It's like
we don't
board
have to
game.
know what the topic is to talk
It's like the
about.
board game life.
It's
is
all
a
about how
wheel.
you interpret it.
Yeah, it's all about your interpretation, really. Alright, time to spin the wheel. So 14 is end the podcast. Keep that in mind. Ooh, 11. 11 is Experimental Frenzy.
Talking about PT Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. So the mono red deck has, or I guess any deck that wants it has like this new card, which is just Future Sight, but it costs one less. Basically.
Yeah.
And you can't cast cards from your hand.
Yeah, but
That's a little bit of a downside from Future
yeah,
Sight.
but
it's
generally
in
when you
red,
have Future
so you
Sight
have
in
cards
play,
in
you
your
want to
hand.
cast the cards at the top of your deck anyway if you can. But I guess
Yeah.
this way, like the way it is, you generally want to play the cards in your hand first. So it's a little bit more restrictive, but
Yeah. There's a lot of sweet brews out there with this card, right? I mean, you got the Flamekin guy that makes mana, and you've got people playing it with Sword Tooth.
Ooh, the Sword Tooth deck is sweet.
Yeah, play extra lands and keep spinning the wheel, see what's on top.
yeah, what does seem sweet with Sword too.
Keep spinning the wheel.
Seems pretty good in
Yeah.
general. Yeah.
I like spinning the wheel.
Card is like fairly high variance in my experience. Like sometimes you'll like play 2 cards, and sometimes you'll play 15.
Yeah. Frank Carson wrote an article on it, and he said it's like basically average of like 2 to 2.5 cards per turn, which
Yeah, it's
You know,
about
it's
a lot
pretty
better than
nice.
1 card per turn.
and then if you have like Sword Tooth to like make it so you're using the second land or a way to loot, it just kind of becomes more ludicrous.
Yeah, a lot of people are also playing Treasure Map to like
Yeah.
scry away extra lands.
Yeah, or that Pyromancer that like rummages for.
Yep.
Yeah, that card's pretty good too.
Mm.
And speaking of experiments, I've been doing a decent amount of chemistry up at the cabin recently.
Would you say a frenzious amount?
A frenzy.
Absolutely. I made some copper sulfate. You take copper metal, you put it in some purified sulfuric acid. I made myself a drain cleaner. You add some hydrogen peroxide. 30% is preferred. I had 3%, so I added a lot. And you get a nice blue salt that dissolves in the water. And
That's
once the
nice.
water evaporates, you get nice blue crystals of copper sulfate. I'm going to make a chemical garden probably next year, unfortunately.
Also, you're upcoming in the sequel to Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like someone in chat had a sweet draft deck with Experimental Frenzy and 6 Healer Socks.
That deck sounds unbeatable.
I like the sound of this deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an Experimental Frenzy in a Boros limited deck once. It was quite ridiculous, I thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure 6 Healers Hawk deck is already unbeatable if you just put some other creatures in it.
Yeah.
So like,
Throw some giant strengths in there. And...
I mean, I'm gonna play all of the giant strengths I have in that deck.
Yeah.
It's
Maniacal
like
Frenzy.
just going to be
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, Maniacal Frenzy is probably fairly noodly in there, I assume.
Alright, how long has it been on this topic?
It's been 3 minutes and 39 seconds, roughly.
Alright.
So if we roll, let's see, if we roll, what number are we on? 11. If we roll an 11 again, we'll be talking about notable farts. Just add that in there.
I think we ran out of ideas for topics a while back. Everybody, I'm sorry.
We've got a list. This is
We've
this
got
is a
quite
prepared
a bit.
list.
is extensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a prepared list of topics, but feel free to suggest topics in the comments.
Yeah, as we're getting more viewers, we're happy to
We got a
take
comment.
requests.
Let's see. Playing green white hate bears, and I love it. Ooh.
Ooh. That sounds nice.
We all
Does
just-
that work?
We all just
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
stop.
Don't they all say if an opponent makes you discard?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Because it's random?
If they cast,
If
they
they
Oh,
cast
no,
a
yeah,
burning-
yeah,
if your
yeah.
opponent
Well,
casts
that's
Burning
nice.
Inquiry and you discard double Obstinate Veilhawk and Wiltleaf Liege, then they're probably
Yeah.
not winning. I assume.
That doesn't sound nice. Unless they follow it up with like 3 hollowed ones.
Alright, well, time to spin the wheel. So 14 ends the show, otherwise we'll keep going indefinitely.
It's gonna be a long night.
Oh!
Narrowly dodged that.
Alright, so it looks like we're talking about meat trees.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
meat trees are just trees that are made of meat instead of wood or other plant material.
I remember the
Thoughts?
Skyrim mod. Where trees were replaced with hands,
Yeah.
fingers. They were finger sausages.
Kind of like a meat tree.
Yeah, that's basically a meat tree.
What are we but sacks of meat?
Would an axe still be the best tool to cut down a meat tree? Or
Yeah,
would
maybe
you
you could use like a steak knife or something. I don't know.
like a big
Oh.
steak knife?
Yeah.
And then you have a pitchfork also. It's
There's
like a
a-
two-man job.
There's a common saying in the workshop that you are the softest thing in here. So an axe probably wouldn't be necessary. You could get by with just a sharp implement. Meat cutting
Plus-
is a lot easier than wood
Plus, also you
cutting.
could probably use it like a skewer and just like shave off some meat around the
Yeah,
edges.
it'd be like a euro.
Yeah, like a euro.
Like a...
Yeah,
But
you
like
could
a
just-
living euro.
You just like uproot the tree and put it in the spit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
nice.
Or you could just like, trim a piece off here and a piece there, and then you could just like keep going back to the tree, so you never had to like,
Yeah.
like
You
one
keep taking branches.
What kind of fruit
Yeah.
does a meat tree grow?
meat
Meat.
fruit. I don't know, maybe eggs.
Why would a meat tree grow eggs?
I don't know, eggs are meat,
What is
right?
that?
Yeah.
No!
Well, you plant the eggs and it grows into another meat tree.
Yeah, you plant the meaty eggs.
We got
on
a
the tree.
problem with
Grows a new meat
It's
tree.
just like an egg shape, but it's meat.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
You plant
consideration
it.
from chat. Someone's watching on mobile,
Yes.
so the topics are showing up really small and they can't read them.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
good note for future. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing we could do about that right now, but we can maybe make the topics larger in the future.
Water
we
the
are-
meat trees with milk.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Or maybe the meat instead of like syrup, the meat trees just produce milk.
What about gravy?
Crazy.
Gravy is basically meat milk.
Yeah, and like they're like plant animal hybrids. So like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do meat trees have bones in them?
Absolutely. That's
They've
like
got to,
yeah,
right? To keep their
probably.
structure. Otherwise, they'd all be like weeping willow meat trees.
Yeah, otherwise they'd probably
Really
like
droopy.
be like a pumpkin patch or something.
What are the leaves made of? Hair?
Gotta protect the meat.
I think the
somehow.
Yeah, I
leaves
get
are probably just
or
mouths.
feathers.
Is the
Right?
bark like
They have to
carroted?
like catch
Well, I was
nutrients.
assuming there
right?
wasn't any bark.
They can't grow through
Oh, so
photosynthesis,
they have to
so they
eat
have to
things?
eat things.
Yeah.
trees
Ah.
which eat things with their roots, like nasty meat
Yeah,
tentacles.
they just
Oh, yeah,
they
they
just
could eat
eat
from the
anything
ground.
that comes along.
I suppose
Yeah.
tentacles are meat.
Or maybe they just have regular leaves, so they could like I don't know get those nice sun
Photosynthesis?
rays, keep them going.
I
and
suppose
whatnot.
that's true.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in like the fall, if they were like, you just have like lots
Hair.
and lots of hair to clean up.
Tree pattern baldness.
Yeah.
Tree pattern baldness. That's nice. That'd be like,
The forest fires would be barbecues.
oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, California
good
would just smell
suggestion.
like burnt hair year round.
And meat.
And meat, burnt meat.
The classic combination of burnt hair and burnt meat.
Yeah, it does sound pretty classic.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Palm tree.
that's probably
A palm.
Oh yeah, the palm trees. Yeah. So instead
That's
of
pretty
branches,
good.
they have like fingers and whatnot. All right. So instead of meat trees, if we roll the 15 again, we'll be talking about road food.
Oof. Big oof.
Road food.
Yeah, road food.
That's exactly what you think it is.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm so tempted to talk about it immediately. but I
Ooh,
can't.
not yet.
Not yet. We got it
Yeah,
spinning.
the wheel has
The
to
wheel
decide.
decides.
I mean, you're free to roll the wheel or spin the wheel if you would like.
Don't roll the wheel.
Man, don't roll the
This wheel was made for rolling.
5.
wheel. Five is
Top 5 disenchants.
Ooh, top 5
Ooh.
disenchants. So disenchants is, I don't know, probably in the top 5 disenchants, right?
Probably not.
Wear and
Dis-
tear.
Do disenchants have to specifically be instants or sorceries, or can they also be like stapled onto a creature?
Like reclamation stage.
Ooh, I didn't think about reclamation. I
'Cause,
assume
like-
reclamation stage would count as a disenchant.
Because I imagine Night of Autumn is like
Probably
the hotness.
yeah.
one of the best ones.
Yeah, Night of Autumn is probably pretty nice.
Also, you have things like Vindicate, right? Or are we
I feel like I would not qualify
things...
Vindicate as a disenchant.
Okay, it has to strictly destroy an
enchantment. Yeah, probably not Abrupt
artifact.
Decay either, or Major Impulse or anything like that.
Wear Tear?
Yeah, Wear Tear is
a pretty
nice.
good one.
Nature's Claim.
You probably need to give a shout out to Hull Breach. That card's insane.
Hull Breach
is that the one that
nice.
destroys an artifact and enchantment?
Yeah.
It's the red-green one.
Or both, right?
I like
Only both.
Yeah, Crossing Grip is a good one.
Ooh, yeah, Crossing Grip is nice. And Return to Dust is pretty noodly. Getting 2 things sometimes and exiling
Nature's Claim, right? That's
Nature's Claim.
Yeah.
You can also gain 4 life sometimes, which is a fun bonus.
The
hidden mode, yeah.
Discard 2 cards, gain 4 life.
Yeah, well, if you destroy like a star, then you get to draw a card anyway.
You can also just target your Darksteel Citadel.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to see the lines, Max.
Kasali Pride Mage is a good one from chat.
That's
a real nice
Kasali
one.
Pride Mage. Although it's pretty creaturey for a disenchant. I don't know. It kind of like pushes the definition of a disenchant.
It's like similar to Night of Autumn.
Yeah, I suppose it is.
How do you feel about Slice and Twain?
Ooh, I do like the value. Drawing a card is pretty nice. Let's see.
Naturalize is like the perennial disenchant effect.
Is it better in green or white?
Well, I feel like green has more disenchants in general.
Yeah, they have a lot of ways to just destroy a non-creature.
So that probably means it's better to have in white.
Yeah,
disenchant is better.
Are the white ones better? Yeah.
Disenchant still gets cast from time to time.
Yeah, like actual disenchant sees playing Legacy.
There's Demystify, but I guess that only gets enchantments. But
yeah,
I mean, it's disenchant.
No, disenchants need to hit artifacts too.
Shatter.
Yeah.
Shatter counts.
I mean, I feel like I would count Demystify, but maybe not necessarily count Shatter. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's about.
Yeah, it's probably about.
We didn't necessarily rank them, but.
Oh yeah.
Number 1, Night of Autumn. Crossing Grip.
Probably not Crossing Grip.
Number 1 of all time is almost certainly Nature's Claim. If you're just looking at the amount of play it's seen in formats, it's hard to beat 1 mana.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, probably Nature's Claim.
We didn't mention Wear Tear either.
We mentioned
Wear Tear. Wear Tear is definitely up there.
But I think Nature's Claim is just front runner for most play scene.
Yeah.
1 mana is just so cheap.
Yeah, it's very, very efficient. Demystify probably gets edged out, unfortunately. Alright, so if we roll, what number on 5? If we roll a 5 again, we'll be talking about, Classic Simpsons.
Nice.
I suppose. Classic Simpsons pretty nice. Alright, who wants to spin the wheel?
I'll take a spin.
Arthur's ready.
Ooh, cleansing ring.
I hope you're ready for an unforgettable luncheon.
Number 9.
Oh, 9? Okay.
Teamer Fun-Ups.
Ooh.
Alright, so if you're playing Teamer, it's presumably reasonably important to have random Fun-Ups, which are just one-ofs that are fun.
Yeah. So for Teamer Fun-Ups, do they have to have Teamer in the mana cost, or just be one of the colors?
They can just be one of the colors, I assume. Like, you have a Fun-Up Nature's Claim, I assume. That's not very fun, but...
I always liked the fun of Tarfire back when I played Rug Twin. That was always nice.
Why Tarfire?
Because it's an extra pump on your Goyf, because you can
drive it.
Oh,
I see.
It's like your 5th bolt that makes Goyf bigger.
It's
so it was really
playing
nice.
like the Traverse deck sometimes for that reason.
Yeah, I really liked having that. You got a lot of people.
Yeah, Traverse probably leads to a lot of Fun-Ups. Or you could just be really wacky and just play a Fun-Of Traverse.
Sometimes they'll be on, I guess.
Yeah, I did do that once. Let's see.
I like Fun-Of Electrolyze.
Fun-Of
Just throw it in there.
Yeah.
I played a fun of Dragon's Claw in a team or twin deck.
Was it in the main?
No.
But why
I
not?
never boarded it in. I thought Burn was going to be more popular than it was.
That doesn't sound like a fun of. It's more just a one-off.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
really
it's certainly not fun
Is it
card,
really?
if
Yeah.
that's what you mean.
It's not really that fun to cast.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, I don't know, it's reasonably fun, I suppose. Gilded Passage. Ooh, that's a new one. What's the... Yeah, so...
Gilded Passage is 3 fun ofs. It's not 1 fun of.
What does Gilded Passage do?
It gets 3 fun ofs.
Is that the one that tutors for 3 things of
Yeah,
your
it's
opponent's
the
choice?
weirdest card ever. So it costs Teamer. It's a sorcery. You hand your opponent your deck.
Yeah.
They give you a creature, a land, and a non-creature non-land.
Oh,
And they go to
oh.
your...
That
That's
sounds
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah.
That is a great fun of.
It's a sweet card.
Yeah,
I would certainly play that.
Yeah. That's sweet.
yeah.
It rewards good deck building.
Putting the types in your deck.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
also,
only
if
the
you
good
put a
ones.
bad
Yeah.
card in your deck, if there's like anything in your deck that's bad, it's just your snap getting it.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Like max
Gotta
punish.
play only good ones.
What if you
Yeah.
built like a combo deck where the only versions of those cards were like the combo pieces? So like it's like Splinter Twin, but the only cards in your deck are Gilded Passage and Splinter Twin combo pieces.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They'd give you Kiki Jiki Splinter Twin land, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Cryptic Command as a fun of in your teamer deck?
Ooh. I mean, why stop at just one?
That's true.
Pretty sure you can
That's
sneak 4 in
That's
there
pretty.
somewhere.
It's pretty easy on the mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have one, you might as well have more than one, I assume. Yeah. Yeah, alright, that's probably about enough of Teamer fun-ofs, I assume. Let's see. So if we roll... What number was that? I keep forgetting. 9?
That's Valley.
If we roll 9 again, we can talk about Marvel Top 5. Let's go with that.
Ooh. What if you get Stormcrow and Crowstorm?
Ooh, those
Whoa.
are the nice ones. Alright, time to spin the wheel.
That's a combo. Stormcrow and Crowstorm.
Yeah, that's a combo, I suppose. Alright, so 14 ends the show. Ooh, 11 again. Notable farts. So, notable farts, I guess, is probably just farts that are in some way remarkable.
In the filming of The Princess Bride, Andre the Giant farted for 30 straight seconds. And at the end, the director asked him if he was okay, and he said, "I am now, boss." And then they continued filming.
They should have recorded that one and put it in the movie.
Just a random soundbite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
In
guess.
like the middle of a fight scene.
Yeah.
That one's pretty notable.
Yeah, that one's reasonably notable, I suppose. Let's see. Notable farts.
There's that Family Guy scene where they did dueling banjos with farting, right? Have you guys seen that?
I don't think I've seen that episode, to be honest.
That's nice. Peter's in the stall and there's another guy next to him. It's like 2 large men go into stalls and then they duel the banjos with farting in the bathroom stall. That's pretty notable.
So can I
Lot
get in
to
on
say
this
on this topic.
podcast officially for the remainder of it?
I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, you could.
Alright. You guys want to scooch over?
We could sit there.
Yeah. I'll scoot over
Do you
here.
want to go over there?
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking. It works.
Remember, don't move your computer.
I'm not moving it. I learned that.
Did you?
There's very few things I've learned in my life, Craig, and that stuck. You know, but we'll try to stick. We'll try to stick this one.
Cow farts that break down our atmosphere. That's pretty notable.
Oh yeah, I guess that is reasonably notable.
They're definitely the primary.
What is the criteria?
I mean, if you remember it, it's
It is
probably
notable.
notable.
How about Fart from the Rick and Morty episode? He's pretty
Oh,
notable.
the gaseous.
His name
being.
was Fart.
Yeah. Yeah, I did like that character.
That was a nice episode.
Goodbye, Moon Man.
Was that Jermaine Clement?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I first heard it, I thought it was David Bowie, but I think he'd already passed away.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a minute.
He
Oh,
does a
makes
really good Bowie impression.
He sounds like Bowie.
I
He
think
just
it
kind of
was
has a similar
supposed to
voice.
be like a Bowie impression.
Oh, it certainly was.
Well,
yeah.
it definitely has. The song is like Bowie-esque in
Yeah.
style, and
Yeah.
like Bowie did a lot of like weird space age,
Yeah.
like space stuff.
Yeah.
That was like part of his like mystique or whatever.
Alright. Well, it's probably been about 3 minutes on notable farts. So, if we roll what is it, 11 again? We could talk about, I don't know. Let's go with
Ew.
Do What You Feel.
Nice story about LBJ. I thought I already didn't like him, but now I like him less.
It's a power move.
Do what you feel.
That was like that one time he, like, as a power move, decided to just, like, go to war with Vietnam for 10 years for no reason.
Yeah. That was a nice
Alright,
power
time to spin the wheel.
Wow, that was a spin!
This
So
is mighty.
yeah, it's a nice spin. So 14 ends the show. Otherwise, we'll keep going indefinitely. Feel free to
What if this spin
Post-
never ends?
post it.
Some say the spin is still going to
Ooh,
this very day.
Ooh,
11.
11.
Do
Don't
what
even,
you feel.
don't even have to change the time.
Wow.
So, do what you feel. Alright. So, do what you feel is just a good saying, you know, like when you don't know what to do, just do what you feel.
Yeah.
It's just
right.
quality advice for just life and the pursuit of happiness, I suppose.
When in doubt, do what you feel.
Yeah. So,
Should I keep this hand? Do what you feel.
When I'm playing in team tournaments and my teammates ask me for advice, this is a common phrase that I go for.
It's
Yeah.
a go-to.
What should I do on this board state? Do what you feel. Should I attack with this creature? Do what you feel.
yeah. Doing what you feel is generally pretty nice.
I think when you're playing a team event, you have to trust your teammates enough that they'll, you know, have like an intuitive grasp of the game at hand. Because if you try to step in and like tell them what to do, you like haven't seen the earlier turns. You don't know like
Yeah.
what's been represented by the opponent, and
As a general
It's like-
rule, I won't chime in unless I've been watching the whole game.
yeah, I feel the same way. You just like if you don't trust your teammate, then you probably just need a different teammate.
Yeah, generally you have to kind of like do your own thing all the time in at least one of your battling team events.
Greg, do you want to talk about your sideboard guide from GP Detroit?
Oh yeah, just this sheet of paper that just said "Do what you feel."
Did you consult it in between?
It sounds like a very comprehensive plan.
I think I consulted it.
It had all
It's
the
got a
matchups.
plan. It's got a plan for every scenario.
Yeah.
That'd be super nice if your opponent sees what's on your sideboard guide and then they just see "do what you feel."
That would be nice.
Yeah, do what you feel. You know, what else are you gonna do?
So if your opponent accidentally saw your sideboard guide or was peeking at it, would you call a judge and be like, "Judge, he was looking at my sideboard notes."
Yeah. All right. Well, it's about 3 minutes on "Do What You Feel," I assume. So if we roll, let's see. If we roll,
11.
11 again. We can talk about favorite song covers.
Ooh.
Like Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
I'm literally just trying to say it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Yeah. It's
Hallelujah.
All right. Well, time to spin the wheel. We'll give it a nice spin.
That was a mighty spin.
That's nice.
I bet it'll land on 11 again.
Yeah, it does seem to like 11.
Have we established, through a double blind study that this wheel is truly random?
No.
That
I
sounds
don't
like a
think
pun.
There's a good study
Oh!
12.
Ooh, pizza axiom.
Pizza axioms. Alright. So, I guess pizza axioms are just I don't know, but like what makes a pizza?
Yeah.
More or less.
What are the minimum requirements for food to have so that you can claim that it's a pizza?
It needs some kind of starchy crust.
So if you had a cracker and you put some marinara sauce on top, is that a pizza?
It's like already getting close to being a pizza.
I've had
But
pizza.
is it a pizza?
I think if you put
It's definitely not a prototypical pizza.
I think if you put a stick of string cheese on top, then that really gets there.
I think you need like some sort of cheese like substance, right?
Okay.
I mean, I can't think of a pizza. I guess there's dessert pizzas, right?
Yeah.
Is a mozzarella stick a pizza? Because it's cheese, and then the crust would be like the whatever around the mozzarella stick.
Ooh.
So it's like a pizza that's been folded into a cylinder.
Oh, it's a Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, or like a calzone, maybe.
It's a stuffed pizza.
I think it needs a sauce. So like
So
if
you
you
done
dip
that?
it.
marinara
the
sauce.
Napolitano, the classic, doesn't really have sauce.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It has tomato sauce.
Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Then is it the margarita? There's a really classic Italian pizza that
I
just
feel like
doesn't
some
really have
types of
sauce.
pizza.
It's basically
No, it's
cheese
tomato.
on bread.
It's tomato sauce that's made from tomatoes from Italy.
That must be the Napolitano.
Yeah,
Well, then I'm thinking of the margarita.
I feel like you
which
don't.
is no that's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, the margarita and the Napolitano are different.
Don't some pizzas not have cheese though? You don't. I feel like cheese isn't required to make a pizza.
So I kind of like the idea of crust, sauce, plus toppings.
Would it be fair to say you need either cheese or sauce?
I guess I could see that.
I feel like without cheese, it's not really a pizza.
You do need
Like,
some
what
sort
kind
of like liquid.
You need something to hold all the pieces together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether
Which
it's
works for dessert
a
pizza
sauce or some kind of.
Is an egg roll a pizza?
It's got a crust.
I can't imagine how it would be.
It's more of a calzone.
What
too.
about
Yeah, I think egg rolls are calzones.
is a pot sticker also a calzone?
I mean, but the real question is a pizza a sandwich?
if you fold it in half.
I think it just comes as an open face sandwich.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
Are you in the broader sandwich category?
Graham
Camp,
cracker,
or are you-
cheese, melted marshmallow.
Ooh,
That's
graham,
a nice combination.
graham cracker cheese.
It doesn't have to be a circle, right? Because there's Chicago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a pizza could definitely be a rectangle.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be a
Chicago.
circle, though.
Chicago is usually still a circle.
Yeah. But I feel like it'd be. I feel
Like
like
deep
Chicago
dish.
deep dish is like a rectangle.
It's like most of the time it's a rectangle.
Yeah.
What if the pizza were like
Not
star
the ones I've
shaped?
been to. Usually it's a circle.
Star shaped would be a nice pizza.
I feel
Probably
like
a
the
little
shape doesn't really
inefficient.
matter.
What about like the football pizza chain, right? Aren't there pizzas football shaped?
It's a little ridiculous, but yeah.
You could do it.
Yeah, football shaped. I definitely go. Football shaped is definitely allowed. I'd say. Alright, well, that's probably enough of pizza axioms, let's say. So if we roll, what number is that, 12 again? We'll talk about the house red.
Ooh. I could go for a saltine marinara sauce pizza right now.
I could go for the house red right now.
Alright,
Do
time
you
to
have
spin
a
the
house
wheel.
red, Greg?
I don't know. Let's see.
Well, you have a house, so if you have a red, then you have a house
Well,
red.
that's the
Alright,
house red.
I'm sure
14.
there's something that's red around here.
Alright, 14 ends the podcast, and anyone can like suggest topics if they feel.
3
3.
combat tricks.
Combat tricks. So, how do you feel about combat tricks?
Underrated.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like really heavily format dependent. Assuming we're talking about limited. There are formats where combat tricks are completely insane. Ones where you race.
Yeah.
Like Skullduggery and Ixalan would be a great example.
Yeah.
But then really like dirtily formats with lots of removal, they go down in value a lot.
Right. And are we considering combat tricks only like pump spells or things that affect like
Hey.
creatures or like because you know in like guilds, for example, if you have like a spy bug or a phantasm out and you just surveil it all, that's kind of like a combat trick because it affects their stats.
Yeah, it
like
is.
You can play play the 3-2
I think
flashback.
usually when people say combat tricks, they mean a spell that targets a creature.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like Skullduggery is a little borderline because it also like shrinks their creature, but
Would unsummon be considered a combat trick?
not real, not in my mind. I mean, it's more like a counter, like an answer to a combat trick in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are...
I think Take Heart is very good in Ravnica Limited.
I've liked it
I think
a
that
lot.
card is just excellent.
Yeah, I think combat tricks and Boros are very important because there's a
Yeah.
lot of small toughness creatures that need to be able to live to mentor multiple turns.
Yeah.
They're really important in Selesnya too, because what happens in Selesnya is you make like a 5/5 worm and then they double block it.
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's just good in all the white archetypes.
I like the play of like pump pre-combat to get the mentor trigger.
Yeah.
That's my favorite use of the combat trick.
That is pretty nice.
It's less
not
of a
very
trick
tricky.
and more of a combat.
Yeah.
I prefer to use maximize velocity to get that effect, but
It's like you're shouting at your opponent, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. Be ready."
Yeah, what can they do though, realistically?
I enjoy though when your opponent's tapped out and you're gonna kill them with Take Heart on they don't have blocks or whatever, but you gotta attack first so you get the extra life gain for value.
Yeah.
But they're definitely just dobs. I like that.
Gotta get every ounce of value you can get.
You really do.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite combat tricks?
Just like of all time.
Yeah, of
limited.
all time.
Thrill of the Hunt. That one's insane.
What does that one do?
It's 1 green +1/+2. Instant, and then flashback for 1 white.
Ooh.
So it's just hyper efficient, and you get to do it. It's gross.
After the second,
I mean, the
after
second time
first-
they see it coming, obviously, but it still gets a card.
I mean, they
Yeah,
don't see
they
it
still
coming
just-
if you use a
They still
both
just
in
have to
one
accept because
combat
you're going to leave it
style.
up the whole game.
Yeah,
or
it just
whatever.
makes combat a nightmare.
Yeah,
for your
it
opponent.
does.
It's
The
there's so
cards-
many possibilities.
The card's very, very good. And when they have 1 green up, this is from Time Spiral. So when they have 1 green up and they just like tap at the cat, it's just like this horrible feeling in your gut, like oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the what's the black one from Scars that like gives the creature infect. That's a pretty nice one. It's like +1/+0.
Tainted Strike.
Tainted Strike.
Tainted Strike. That one was pretty nice.
Oh well, speaking about Scars, how do you feel about Untamed Might?
Yeah, that's a nice
What
one.
does Untamed Might do?
Untamed Might is 1 green and X. Target creature gets +X/+X.
Ooh.
But it's in the infect format, so
Yeah.
one of the skills of that format was playing around that card. There were games you couldn't, you just had to
Yeah.
basically not put it in their hand. But there were some games you could basically just like constantly block everything and then you could actually beat it sometimes. But the first time you got hit with that card, you never forgot. It was like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh,
I'm dead.
I was at 20, but I'm not anymore.
Now I have 10 poison count.
Yeah.
Comic
Yeah.
tricks are nice.
The ones that bring the creatures back immediately are all pretty nice.
Yeah,
The
the like
common
1 mana one from Amonkhet is sweet.
Yeah.
Oh
I like.
Stamina? Something?
Supernatural stamina?
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't that from Theros?
Yeah,
Was that when it originally was printed?
If it wasn't exactly,
It
it was
was
like
in
it was like a similar card.
It was black, give +2/+0, and then when it dies, it comes
Moon
back.
Mist. I definitely think Moon Mist
Ooh.
counts as a combat trick.
That's a
Yeah,
nice
for sure.
one.
Not the one that transforms.
Have you ever gotten
all
to transform your
werewolves?
Delvers with a Moon Mist? I don't think I have, but I've seen other people do it. It's pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
That sounds
And it, like,
nice.
Prevents combat damage.
From non-werewolves.
From non-werewolves.
Yeah, so it's not even really that great a combo with Delver.
Yeah.
So that's about 3 minutes on combat tricks. So if we roll this topic again, we'll be talking about jazz.
That's a newly topic.
There are a lot of pro shoes booze topics on here. The house red and jazz.
Well, it's a good thing you got tagged in.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's a reason for that. Alright, time to spin the wheel. So 14 ends the podcast. Yeah, feel free to suggest topics at any time, I suppose.
Yeah, if anyone has topics, like, we seriously will try to bring them in rotation.
Oh yeah, please.
16. Favorite bonds.
Ooh.
Alright, so...
My favorite James Bond is George Lazenby.
Which movie was he in?
I think it was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
Alright.
He was in one Bond film.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Very underrated James Bond, in my opinion.
Yeah, I never saw that one. I tried to watch the Moonraker once, but I couldn't get through the whole thing. But the beginning was very nice, but then it sort of like meanders around in the middle. And I don't know, it sort of lost me. Ooh, Luminous Bonds is pretty nice.
Luminous Bonds is a good
I'm pretty
Bond.
sure I like Luminous Bonds more than any James Bond.
Yeah, they're hard to compare though.
How do you feel about Soul Bond
What is
as
Soul
a
Bond?
mechanic?
As a mechanic?
Yeah.
Well, I have nightmares of that format, so
Yeah.
not well.
Oh,
Bonds of
okay.
Faith is a nice one.
Ooh,
though.
Bonds of
What is-
Faith
Sometimes
is
you
nice.
slapped it on your invisible stalker, and then it just gave him the beat down.
Yeah, or you slap it on your opponent's creature
That's
and then
usually what
realize
you
it's
did.
a human later on.
That's not usually what you did, although unless you're Conley Wood's opponent.
Yeah.
That's a really nice game.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens with Bonds of Faith, you'd like first pick it because it's a really good kill spell, and then they'd play their Bloodline Keeper, and you'd stare at your card for 100 years and concede.
Yeah, Martyr's Bond. Wait, which one is that?
I don't know what that one is.
There's like, let's see, like chemical bonds.
Ionic and
Oh, what's your favorite chemical bond?
Oh, what?
Covalent, or what's the other one? I forget.
ionic.
Ionic.
Ooh,
There's
Covalent.
also hydrogen bonds. Those are
Yeah.
Is
pretty
it
nice.
different?
Huh?
Those are different.
They're
than
like a
Yeah.
unique
covalent ionic.
type.
Yeah.
Why?
it's-
Because they only have one free electron.
So it's like a polar type bond that works when like water, for example, is a polar molecule, and the hydrogen finds the negative side of like other water molecules and kind of forms like a polarity bond. It's part of the reason water has surface
Yeah.
tension.
Nice.
Yeah, those are nice. We wouldn't be alive without hydrogen bonds, but we wouldn't really be alive
Well,
without any bonds.
You don't have
Yeah.
like the contrapositive scenario in which like different like life developed, but like not carbon based.
Sure. In general,
You don't have any
bonds-
evidence that isn't possible.
In general, bonds are pretty
I
critical.
mean, if
to
things
life.
just sort of all
Yeah.
floated away and like weren't connected at all, it probably would be impossible. I assume.
Nanobond.
Ooh,
That's a
Mana
good
Bond's
bond.
nice. Ooh, Sanguine Bond.
Fast Bond.
Yeah, Fast Bond.
Fast
That's probably the number one bond, I assume.
Yeah.
Where do you rank just like the bonds you get at the bank? Just like
Pretty low.
bank
pretty
bond.
low.
Like, where's that in the bond
general-
rankings?
I'd probably rank it Fast Bond and then Pierce Brosnan second.
Pierce Brosnan.
mine
He's
would
the
be-
first Bond I ever saw on screen.
Mine too, I assume.
Mine would be Fast Bond and then George Lazenby.
Yeah, that's probably a good ranking. Alright, that's probably enough on favorite bonds. I feel like we pretty much covered it. Alright, so if we roll 16 again, we'll talk about Settlers of Catan. How about
Why would
that?
we talk about that? As long as we don't have to play it, I guess I'll allow it.
We're gonna play around.
We're
with
gonna
Settlers
pop.
of-
Yeah.
And we're gonna buy
They'll
it,
just watch us
play
play it.
Yeah.
We can only play it for 3 minutes.
Time to spin the wheel!
That's probably enough time to finish the game of Catan.
Yeah,
Probably.
in 3 minutes.
I'll probably concede immediately.
We could discuss how a theoretical game might go.
Slowly, usually.
Oh no! Ooh,
12. The,
The
house
house
red.
red.
Ooh.
Why don't
So
you-
instead of discussing this, can we just partake instead? Is that allowed?
Maybe.
That sounds like a no.
No, we just had the one that ends the podcast.
It's just the one.
Yeah.
Well, the house red is pretty nice.
Yeah.
I like to order it a lot. My friends like to make fun of me for ordering it a lot.
That's
They call me an old man, and then I look at them and order
Just
it
like-
anyway.
Just at Applebee's, like, okay, the house
I mean,
red.
the nice thing about the house red, you can order it anywhere, and even
Yeah.
if it's terrible, it's still
Every
drinkable.
place has a house red.
It's still drinkable.
Yeah. Every place does have a house
If
red.
you've got a house and you've got some red, you've got a house red.
What's your favorite house red?
I mean, the nature of house red, you can't have a favorite because when you're ordering the house red, you're saying I give up on quality for cheap. You don't say like give me the whatever.
All right.
Whatever grape from 1842. Like you just.
Let me rephrase this. What place has the best house red?
Well, I mean, the nicer the place, the nicer the house red, but it's also more expensive. Like if you're at a nice restaurant, you order house red, it'll be like $10, and it'll be nice. If you're at Applebee's and you order house red, it's basically swill, but it's $5. So who cares?
It's definitely not $5.
A house
$4
red,
or whatever.
A house red is whatever the cheapest red wine a restaurant can.
A house red, yeah. If you just sit down, you can order the house red or the house white, and they'll have it's basically rail, but for wine.
Yeah, they just choose for you.
It's what us poor people who like wine drink because it's cheap.
Yeah.
I suppose you could also just get boxed wine and drink it at home.
Like Francia.
And that would be even cheaper.
Do you think you could ask them to drink it straight from the bag, or is that only something they can only do?
I feel that like if you're going to drink straight from the bag in the store, it's really more on point to not ask.
I'd like
it really completes the picture.
Bring the bag to the table.
Is that what BYOB stands for? Like bring your own bag.
Bring your own bag of wine.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like an option. Like you go to Olive Garden and you can order like a glass, a bottle, or like a bag.
Of a bag, please.
Of a bag of your house red.
Yeah, I'll just leave the bag. Sir.
Your finest bag of house red.
You adjust your monocle. Leave the bag.
Sorry, sir, but to order a bag of wine here, you must display your monocle first.
Yeah.
How do you feel about red houses?
Red houses?
Yeah, red houses are...
Red is a loud color for a house.
It could go with orange, but it's neither here nor there.
Houses in Brazil are all bright colors. They're like yellow, red, and orange. Not all of them, but a lot of them. It's really weird.
I think it's good for like firehouses to be red.
Yeah,
it's a good house to be loud.
How about like a butcher's place? Just like bright blood red.
Yeah, it'd be easier.
Is it painted that color or
just everything possible that can be painted?
Part of your brand.
Ooh, I guess you could make wine out of oranges instead of like the house red. You could order the house orange.
Would you start doing it then?
Yeah, there's orange wine. I haven't heard of orange wine before now, but I assume it's nice. Alright, well, that's probably enough information about the house red. So if we roll that topic again, we will be talking about, let's see, trunk vodka? Let's go with trunk vodka.
It's very similar to the house red.
Fine,
but it's kind of more like the car red.
It's the car red.
Alright, so time to spin the wheel. Does someone else
spin the wheel?
Sure, give it a spin.
Get real geared up for it.
Ooh, it's a nice spin. So 14 ends the podcast, and we're taking topic suggestions to be added to the wheel, I suppose. Ooh, number 1.
Wheel of Life.
Wheel of Life.
I feel like Wheel of Life is like, there's like a Lion King knockoff, and it's like the opening song.
It's the Wheel of Life,
and it spins around.
The Wheel of Life.
It spins around. It's nice.
That's how you get a nice panorama shot of the rock.
Yeah.
Like the rock is what's spinning around, not the camera.
Yeah. So what is the Wheel of Life exactly, Greg? This is
your
your topic.
Yeah, you just spin the wheel and...
Yeah, it's the wheel.
It's like the circle of life, but it's a wheel.
Are we just saying it's just a metaphor for life? It's just every day you're waking up.
I guess you're just spinning the wheel, but like in life.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how life is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to spin the wheel, I suppose.
I mean,
don't you?
Yeah.
You kind of do. Even if you like stay in bed, I don't know, your house could burn down.
Spinning the wheel every day.
I don't know. You could just be launched into space, and then like there probably wouldn't be much going on.
Yeah, it'd be tough to spin wheels.
Plus, there's no gravity, so
Yeah.
if you started the wheel to spin, it would just keep spinning, right?
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
So that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Then the podcast could go forever.
Yeah, the
That'd be
podcast could
nice.
technically go
There would
forever.
be 0 topics.
We
It
would
would
just
be
have to
watching the wheel spin.
Eventually, we would just have to like talk about a topic as the wheel passes it.
Yeah.
So we're just like, wheel standard jazz planet, like
It's the wheel.
just like fire it off
of
real
life,
quick.
and it
spins
spins around. Yes, indeed. Yeah, so we're still technically at the beginning of the podcast by the nature of the podcast. It's
Yeah.
always at the beginning. So
Yeah, the podcast is kind of nice for thinking about like statistical theory or whatever.
yeah, it is nice in that way. Alright, so that's probably enough about Wheel of Life. So if we roll 1 again, let's talk about the Book of Mormon. Alright, time to spin the wheel.
Greg, how many spins do you think this wheel has in it before we have to get a new wheel?
About yay many.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Should have
That's what I would say.
On a scale from 1
I must
to
be a
8,
noob
man.
for not knowing that's what was going to get.
So 14 ends the
Oh.
podcast.
12. Trunk
This
vodka.
wheel is biased.
I mean, it probably is biased in some way.
It probably is, but at the same time, like, isn't it too hard to know?
Yeah.
There's
Like,
variations in
anecdotally,
spin
there's no
speed.
way you can just, like, observe it after,
You'd have
like,
to
10
spin it like
spins and know.
1,000 or 10,000
Right,
times
you'd have to
know.
get your hand has to be
It does
super
seem
high.
to have a little slight lean to it if I let it go. Anyway, so Chunk Vodka. I guess
Like,
that's
we've definitely hit numbers all up and down.
yeah. So
Is this vodka you keep in a nice trunk in your house?
no, it's well, I guess you could keep it in a trunk in your house. It was more like vodka you keep in your trunk of your car when it's out in the sun.
Could it be like, you know, the trunk people from Rick and Morty? Could it be like vodka that the trunk people make? It's like the cultural vodka from
Yeah.
the trunk people.
Wait, which are the trunk
I
people?
don't know. They're like the trunk people, and they have trunks.
Oh,
They
the
have, like,
trunk
an ad
people.
where they, like,
yeah,
wanna marry or
right.
something.
Those trunk people. I thought you were talking about people that live in trunks.
Or it's vodka that you age inside of a tree trunk.
Mm.
Gets a nice oaky. I think it kind of just like eventually becomes gin, right? If it's in like a pine tree.
I like the idea of just like looking into a trunk of a tree that's just a bunch of bottles of vodka.
It's like someone's secret drinking trove.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We just stuffed them in here.
I mean, if I ever found like a couple bottles of vodka in a tree trunk, I would just assume it's like the local teenagers, right? Like, who else would do that?
Oh, kids these days.
Like, oh well, you gotta store it somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, one time
Keep it in the
Salty.
trunk.
Yeah, you might as well keep it in the trunk. One time Salty J was like, it was going to a party or whatnot. He had like a bottle of vodka that was in his trunk, and it was like a nice like 80-year-old or 80-degree day or whatnot. And it
You
was
gotta
just
keep it
warm.
warm. You gotta keep it warm.
It wasn't warm. It was hot.
Okay.
Boiling.
Yeah, near boiling. Alright, apparently I suggested that we discuss
Yeah, you
traditional
discussed
monitors
it.
versus TVs.
Is that actually you?
Well, it's not physically me.
Who just has access to your Twitch chat?
Is that Brian?
Yeah, I assume he's just typing it onto the computer.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Alright, so...
Let's
That's a
throw it
reasonable
in.
topic
Yeah.
about which I know nothing.
So, let's just do monitors, or...
Greg's inner voice.
Ooh, look at all these topics.
Ooh, Cheese Whiz, Darth Vader, Toe Tickles, Tarzan's Descendants, Medicine Balls versus Balls of Medicine. Ooh, I like that.
Ooh,
That's a
one's
really
good.
good
That's a
one.
good one. Alright, Popcorn Ceilings, 30-foot long charging cables. Ooh, Those all sound nice.
Yeah.
I'll have to add those to the wheel.
What was our topic just now? Oh, so we're doing monitors versus TVs for the next.
That was added, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so 14 ends the podcast. And otherwise we'll keep going indefinitely. Alright, topic number 8. Cloverfield movies.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's 3 Cloverfield movies now? There's Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and also Cloverfield Paradox?
I don't know.
And I think both Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield Paradox were only decided to be Cloverfield movies, like, after they were, like, partially made or whatnot. So what's your favorite Cloverfield movie?
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I've never seen them either. Doesn't one of them have John Goodman in it?
Yeah, that's like the second one.
Yeah, probably that one.
John Goodman was. I thought the
that one's
Cloverfield
like the
movies were sort of
newest
like
one.
bad B horror movies.
Depends on which one you watch.
Oh, okay. Was the John Goodman one good?
Yeah, that one's nice. That one's like the best one. And the
I
first
guess
one's also
right.
pretty nice. Yeah, the third one, which is like a Netflix movie. Well, I think like some movie studio like made this movie, realized it was like horrendously unplayable, and then like sold it.
Doubled down on it and made more.
Well, no, they like sold,
as Hollywood does.
instead of releasing it, they like sold it to Netflix, and
Okay.
then somewhere along the line, it got rebranded as a Cloverfield movie.
Oh no.
We got confirmation. 10 Cloverfield Lane has John Goodman.
Yeah, that's a noodly one. So in 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman is like, has like a bomb survival like underground area, and then a bomb shelter, yeah, and like essentially like the main character is like this woman, and she wakes up in John Goodman's bomb shelter, and John Goodman's like, it's been like an apocalypse type scenario, like it's too unsafe for you to go outside anymore. And then
Does she know if he's telling the truth?
No, that's like the point of the movie. It's like you don't know what's going on.
Is he a creeper, or is it?
Yeah. Well, he's definitely a creepy dude, no matter how you interpret it. But
okay, fair.
it's sort of like yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know. It's sort of like the movie Passengers, but instead of Chris Pratt, you have John Goodman.
The same thing.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Alright. So, it's probably about like 2 minutes or 3. How many minutes has it been?
Who knows?
Do you
Spin the wheel.
topic switching?
Yeah. Alright, well, if we roll 8 again, let's, do you want to switch it out?
Yeah, I can do that.
Alright, let's talk about Cheese Whiz. Alright, time to spin the wheel. That wasn't a very hearty spin. Alright, 14 ends it, otherwise. Alright, 6.
Dirtle Cube.
Ooh, Dirtle Cube is nice.
Dirtle Cube's nice.
So Dirtle Cube is like this cube where like there's not a lot of creatures, just a lot of counter spells.
Did you change it in OBS too?
And there's no
Double click the
there's no spinny cards.
Yeah.
And there's very few ways to win.
Yeah.
You know, basically it's just like drafting variations of control decks and then playing control mirrors.
Yeah. So basically, it's like that. Ideally, it'd be like that feeling in like a control mirror where you're not sure how the game is gonna end and how you're eventually gonna find a way to maybe win the game at some point. But it's like you're that feeling like while you're drafting it as well.
Yeah, you gotta figure out how you're going to not lose to decking in this format. Like, because it's pretty likely to go to that.
So things like Elixir of Immortality are
It's
really
like
high
an
picks.
unbelievable
Like,
bomb.
Greg, what do
Yeah.
you think would be the best card? Like, best pick one, pack one in Dirtle Cube?
Well, Elixir of Immortality is pretty strong because many of the games would come down to milling, I assume. Or other, like, I don't know, other cards that do similar things. to that.
Guy's Blessing is top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Guy's Blessing only shuffles in like basically 2 cards unless it's milled for some reason, right?
I think the best part about Dirtle Cube is your like evaluations of cards are like wildly different. Right?
Oh yeah.
Because you get like cards that are like
lightning bolt,
or like even like a counterspell like Vex or something. Like Vex might just be a nice card because it lets your opponent draw a card and they're gonna deck faster. Like
Yeah, when I was doing like Cube Tutor like simulations of this, I like avoided any cards that drew cards and aggressively took anything that had power to attack with.
But that's not
That's one
even
way to
good.
do it.
Yeah.
There's so many.
There's so
I don't
many
think I
walls, yeah.
drafted it that way.
It's like, oh, my 2/2 can't get through this 08.
Yeah, the largest creature in Dirtle Cube is Plume Veil, which is a 4/4 wall with flash.
Plume Veil's a nice magic card.
Yeah, Plume Veil's sweet.
Did you add Devious Cover up to the Dirtle Cube?
Not yet, but I
That
will.
card seems
Shoot.
extremely good.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my
card's nice.
god.
You might even just counter your own spells.
I'd probably just take that card over Cryptic Command in Dirtle Cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems better.
It's like 3 of the modes on Cryptic Command are bad.
Oh, is Laboratory Maniac in the cube?
No, that's
Yeah.
too good.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, okay.
that's like it's just a commons and uncommons cube as
Oh,
of
that's
right
true.
now, but
Yeah. There's nothing that like directly wins you the game. It's all attrition based.
yeah. Just value and trying not to get milled
Yeah, I feel
eventually.
Laboratory Maniac would add too much of a combo dimension to the Dirtle Cube.
Yeah.
Comboing is decidedly not
I
Dirtle-esque.
feel like Laboratory Maniac would be pretty aggressive.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
There's some sweet
Tax for
gameplay.
2.
There's some
I mean,
sweet...
Phyrexian Rager's pretty aggressively costed in this
Yeah.
Dirtle Cube.
Is Muldrifter in the Dirtle Cube?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of too good?
No.
No.
There's a ton of walls with reach.
Okay.
And there's also like Wall of Denial and like Plume Veil is in the cube, right? Is Plume Veil in there?
Yeah, Plume Veil's the
Plume-
biggest creature in the cube.
Well, also the Muldrifter is just gonna die because where else are you gonna put your kill spell?
Yeah,
Is
that's
Praetor's
true.
Council in the cube?
No Praetor's Council.
Oh, that's also rare.
Yeah. Alright, well that's probably enough about Dirtle Cube. So if we roll 6 again, we'll talk about Darth Vader, I suppose. Time to spin the wheel. Haha. So 14 ends the podcast. Otherwise, the podcast could go on forever. Who knows? Alright, number 7.
MTG Arena.
Ooh. MTG Arena's pretty noodly, I suppose.
Yeah.
Something's not right.
It's
there. Why did it
definitely a
switch
pretty
colors?
nice platform, in my opinion, for games that don't get very complicated, but it kind of starts to fall apart when you start to kind of push the limits of what the screen or mechanics of the system can handle. So, for example, like in a Dominaria draft, both my opponent and I kicked like Josu Vess, and we both had 8 menace creatures out. And when they moved to combat to attack, I basically almost timed out lining up blocks, because every time you block, it rearranges the board and puts arrows to what's blocking what.
Gross.
And with both boards having like 12 plus creatures in play, and having to assign 2 blocks per guy, it got really difficult to kind of figure out what was blocking what and make sure I wasn't just going to die to the client not allowing me to block well.
So this is fixable though, right?
I assume
Maybe.
so. I mean, they have to figure out, I guess, like a good way to resolve that aspect. Maybe like once something is blocked in a legal way, it can move to a different route.
Ooh, what if like that's
Well, how does the timer work? Because it's constantly like checking, right?
Yeah, it resets every time you cast something or
Oh,
use
that's
an
really
ability.
bad. It definitely should reset when you're like clicking blockers
I
or
think
attackers.
so as well. It shouldn't drain, but I've almost
could-
timed out a few times on blockers.
You can also
That
build
sounds
up.
awful.
You can also build up a bank of time. So if you like
Yeah.
spend a very quick amount of time on your like early turns, you'll like bank extra time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
It's not
does sound
too
like a good
difficult to
system.
bank time, but
Yeah.
if that game had gone long, I mean, what we would have just done.
Alright, here's
Yeah.
an easy
I don't know.
fix.
I use like a good percentage of my time in a game unlimited on like those like 2 or 3 combat steps that are really complex. Like I like being able to like front load the time I'm spending on those, because how you block there or how you attack is frequently like the difference between winning and losing. Like it's just very.
The time does bank up, but also like they have auto tap, like auto taps lands. Why don't you just auto assign blockers as well?
Why doesn't it just play the game?
Just
for
like
us
right click, just like.
Oh,
block
can I
the ball.
complain about one thing on Arena? So you don't choose whether you play or draw. That is
Yeah.
horrible. This limited format, it is absolutely relevant to draw first in like the Dimir mirrors or sometimes the Selesnya mirrors, and then they just take that decision. Like, why? Why are you taking that decision away? I don't understand. Who's that supposed to appeal to?
Yeah.
Like, what's the purpose for
Just
that?
the idea is to speed up gameplay overall.
I mean, that's fine.
That's the purpose of Arena.
I mean, that's fine, but
which is why you have the time as it is in Arena as opposed to the chess clocks that you have on Moto.
Yeah, personally, I just think that like taking a decision away that's that simple is just like bad for the game, because you're not hurting. I don't know. It's not, if it was like a complexity creep thing, I could get it, but I feel like it's the kind of thing.
You can turn off auto tap.
Well, it's like the thing where
people understand the play draw rule. It's not like that's like a barrier to entry. It's like casual players can't understand this rule.
I think the better argument is that like 99% of the time you're going to choose to take the play, so it just like adds an extra click into the gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I
like,
get
you're
if
very
you're designing your
rarely going to
game
be
for
on the
constructed,
draw.
then I get that that's true, but I just don't. I think it's unfortunate that they're removing a strategic thing that I think is actually pretty interesting.
Alright, so it's probably about 3 minutes on MTG Arena. So if we roll a 7 again, we'll be talking about toe tickles, I guess. Alright, time to spin the wheel. Ooh, what could it be? Could be anything. Who knows? Who's to say?
The wheel will say.
Ooh.
Marvel top 5.
Ooh, Marvel top 5.
Is this top 5 movies? Top 5 characters?
I assume
I'm pretty sure it's
movies.
Marvel top 6. Like Aetherworks Marvel looks at the top 6.
Yeah, Marvel
So
top
it's just
6.
Well,
Ulamog?
Aetherworks
Just
Marvel
one
is
Ulamog.
is
Oh, it's
literally the
Ulamog.
bottom of my Marvel.
Yeah, what 5 cards in addition to your Ulamog are the best 5?
It's just like lands, right? Then you don't see those.
Yeah, they don't even have to worry about
Aetherworks Marvel's the worst Marvel of them all.
Yeah.
it.
It's
Yeah.
pretty miserable.
Apparently, it was like originally like a 5 or 6 mana artifact that you had just that sacrifice when you used it.
That would have been way more reasonable.
Oh, one of the design articles I wrote about it, they talked about how it was designed for casual play.
Yeah, it was.
How'd that work
Well,
out?
no, it was designed for casual play, and then somewhere along the line, they're like, "What if we just made this card like really good?" And so they decided to make that change.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a fan of Infinity War. That was a
Infinity
nice.
War was really good.
It was nice.
That's probably the top 5.
I like
top 5 Infinity War.
I like
Infinity War
Ragnarok
5.
also. I
Yeah,
thought the
Ragnarok's
humor in that was
nice.
pretty
Yeah,
nice.
Thor Ragnarok was nice. Yes.
Winter Soldier's pretty good.
Yeah, Winter Soldier's reasonable, I suppose. I like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, Volume 1 and Volume 2, I suppose.
One thing about the latest Marvel movies is that they've really been nailing the music. The soundtracks are so nice. Hitting up a lot of the 80s music and 80s rock. I like that a lot.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy stands out
Yeah,
as
for
having
sure.
just a phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
What other Marvels are there?
Deadpool.
Hmm?
Doesn't really count. I assume we're talking about MCU.
What about Spider-Man 3?
Spider-Man
I guess I don't
series
know
not
that
That's
bad.
appropriate because the new Venom movie is coming out.
It is out.
Yeah, it
Oh,
already
it
came
is out. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I heard it was medium. Is it in the MCU or it's a separate thing?
It's a separate
Well, yeah,
thing.
it's not. It's
It's a Sony movie.
in Marvel Studios.
Okay.
Yeah. They it's basically like, I don't know, like Spider-Man, but like if they took out most of the parts that were good.
Venom is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of
That's too bad.
It felt like they needed to add like a half hour to 45 minutes to the movie just to develop things more, because it was like, here's this character you're supposed to like, but he's actually kind of an asshole, and then like
yeah. Plus, there's not a lot of time for like Venom to do stuff.
What's like his backstory, or what's the deal with Venom?
It's
He's like a dark
alien.
He's a
version
symbiote.
of Spider-Man.
no, he's an alien that
Really?
like is kind of like a parasite on the host, or
Ooh,
more like
okay.
a symbiote, like a symbiosis.
I suppose Logan was about yay noodle here.
Logan was nice.
Does that count as a
Blade
Marvel movie?
and Blade
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
Blade. Yeah.
Ghost Rider. Ooh.
Yeah. Elektra was not a good
I've
movie.
never seen
No,
Elektra.
Electra was very
Catwoman?
bad.
Ooh,
The
Catwoman
was also very
Is
bad.
Catwoman is DC, though,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
Yeah, it is. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, DC just doesn't do a good job usually.
Yeah, I think generally the issue is that DC characters aren't relatable.
Yeah, or maybe just I don't know. I feel
I
like
don't know. I mean, did you know anything about Thor before he showed up in the Marvel movie?
yeah, not really. To
Like
be honest.
they're as relatable as you make them relatable,
Yeah,
right? If you make a good script and you have a good actor or actress,
yeah, but
the
I'm
character
saying,
will
like,
be relatable.
like some of Marvel's main draws are like X-Men and Spider-Man, which are just like normal people that obtain superpowers or were born with them.
I don't know, how's that different than Batman and Catwoman?
Well, Batman's a billionaire orphan. I don't know how relatable.
I mean, everyone's a
that is.
billionaire. Like, how is that? Yeah, I mean, I relate to that on a very personal level.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably. I think we've pretty well established the top 5. Do you want to just say them out loud together? In
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
Alright, so number
Infinity
5 would
Wars.
probably Infinity War.
Oh, we didn't mention Black Panther. Black Panther's definitely.
Panther.
Black Panther
Yeah.
stays.
Yeah, that was good
Alright,
for sure.
well, time. That probably
Ragnarok,
rounds out the
Black
top
Panther.
5.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright, time to spin the wheel.
This wheel is very nice, Greg.
Yeah, the wheel is sweet.
Huge fan of the wheel.
Number 7.
Toe tickles.
Toe tickles.
What does that mean?
What do you think it means?
I
I
don't
guess,
know.
I guess
like-
toes are often somewhat ticklish, I assume.
It's like the tickler, like a type of torture, right? Where you like strap someone down and you like tickle their feet with a feather. That'd be pretty awful.
How do you feel about the Tick, like the superhero?
I love
not
the
bad.
tick.
Tick's a nice.
There's a
I
new
watched the
Amazon
cartoon back
show.
when I was a young.
Did you watch the live action show of the
No, I never saw it. Is it good or bad?
tick? It's good in the same way that B movies are good.
Okay.
So bad.
Okay, that's too bad. I think if you did the Tick right, it could be really funny. But it suffers from the like kind of like everything's doing the like break the fourth wall,
Yeah.
make fun of your own genre thing. It's like kind of overdone now.
Yeah.
But the Tick's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know much about. I don't really know much
About
about
tickle
toe
torch.
tickling.
Yeah.
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 I
Well,
like my favorite part about the Tick though is just how you don't know if his suit is like part of his body or like his suit, because he's like clearly has antenna on his suit, but then like when he takes his suit off, he like loses his orientation and like walks into walls because he doesn't have his antenna. It's like, I love how like you don't really know where his like superhero identity begins and like where his regular identity ends. He's nice.
Is that how that works? When you grow up, your toes get less ticklish?
especially if you chop them off.
Then they're exceptionally
That's
unticklish.
a good point, Greg.
That'd be really weird if they remain ticklish,
Yeah.
not attached to your body.
You have phantom tickles in your toes.
What an awful
That's how it
superpower.
works for like octopuses or whatever, right? Or lizards. Or...
I think so.
Phantom tickles.
Yeah.
Well, if you chop off the tentacle of an octopus, it like still has nerve end. Because like there's the nervous system of the octopus is in all 8 of its legs.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it sort of has like kind of a brain or a spinal cord
Yeah.
in its tentacle. So it's
Yeah.
like still super creepy.
Yeah, I thought you were referring to like how they can feel that the limb is still there, or they
Yeah.
think the limb is still there even though it's gone.
Oh, I mean, I guess I don't know. I have no idea how that works, but
Yeah. It's like
presumably if you've severed the neuron, then it can't communicate in any way.
yeah, a lot of like amputees will like always feel like their hand is like clenching and they can't get it to unclench.
Oh, really?
So like one of the treatments is to like sit them up and have like a mirror here, and then have them put both of their arms, like the amputated arm on the other side of the mirror, and so when they look in the mirror, they see the mirror of their non-amputated limb, and then they like clench really hard and release, and like their brain thinks that their amputated limb is opening their hand, and then it relieves the tension. It's really interesting. It's psychological and like kind of
they're doing a lot of work on like robotics. Stuff seems really interesting.
All right, ready to spin the wheel? Time to spin the wheel. All right. Fortune ends the podcast. Otherwise, who knows when it'll end?
You really could never say.
We really could never.
Right now.
Oh, right now. Apparently.
14?
Yeah.
We do need to get a nice WheelCast podcast ending sound, like the sad tuba or whatever.
We can each just give ourselves a round of applause.
A wheel of applause.
That was a good first shot at a live.
It's probably got a few kinks to be
Brian
worked
can
out.
come back in. What do you call it? In frame or whatever.
Yep.
I'd say that was a successful show.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks everyone who showed up. We're gonna. Well, I'll let Greg say how often he's planning to do this.
We'll try to do it once a week if possible. I don't know if like the PT Atlanta if it'll be possible to do it next week, but if there's an opportunity to, we'll probably try to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Play it by ear, but I don't know.
You could bring the wheel with you to Atlanta.
Yeah, get some guest pro hosts.
I mean, if the WheelCast takes off, I definitely think like pro guests would be super sweet.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
It's probably like something down the line, but
It's my dream to get someone really famous on the show and spin in the podcast right away.
That is the dream.
It'd be even sweeter if it was like non-magic famous. It was just like actually famous.
Like I was always thinking like you get like Bill Nye on the podcast, and then you're like, thanks Bill for flying all the way.
Thanks for coming in, Bill.
Yeah.
It was great to have you. We really appreciated your insights on
that would be extremely high value.
All right. Well,
I think we're gonna.
thanks for tuning in.